Okay, so this is Robert Forsch. I want to talk about Tesla innovation, Tesla racing, and I've got some ideas for you. I put the sticker on my car. I've got the Cybertruck ordered, and I hope to have that soon. That'd be awesome. And I have a background of racing, learning how to innovate and do things better. I can charge my phone with this V8 Lexus or the solar panel that's right here. Also has a battery pack on it. It should have Tesla on there. Why not? Makes sense. It would be a good marketing way to have the Tesla logo associated with the solar and the lithium battery storage. I also want to illustrate something else here. There is a bug right here that's trying to get out of the car. Let's see, I don't know if you can see him. It's breezy, all the doors are open, and there he is trying to get out of the car right now, but he can't. So I'm going to take a little bit of stored energy with this lithium battery powered blower, and I'm going to help him out. See, all the ways are open for him to get out right here. He just can't find his way out. So I'm going to help him out. I think. It's a nice concept. I don't know if he made it. So I'm going to take us for a little bit of a ride here. And I want to talk about Jeff Bezos, Amazon, the logistics and distribution of our just-in-time systems. Hey, I want to show you, see the sun up there? Let's see if I can put it in the, there it is, right there in the bird bath there. I like to fill that off, and I've got a lot of mockingbirds. There's a whole bunch of them up in that tree waiting to come on in and enjoy the bathing there. The bathing, the drinking, all of that. So I've got my back window ledge loaded up with these. This one is a blaver, I believe they call it, and it's got 5 solar panels on it and a surface charger as well. Kind of nice, isn't it? So I'm going to load this on up and take us on out for a little bit of a ride here. I'm on my way to the supercharger in Myrtle Beach, so you'll get to see the distance it is away. And I didn't hashtag myself in there for a reason I'll tell you about. I can add it later if I want to. This is an atmospheric water generator as well. This vehicle is. The air conditioner is going to condense and cool the moisture that flows through the coil in the climate control system. It's just an expensive way to make a few ounces of water. Another atmospheric water generator is the one that's on the house. It's a heat pump. It's not running right now, but it's right over here, and it's going to drip water out of this. It's doing it right now. The melting that's occurring from the little pipe there, or that's draining out of there. There's a coil up in the attic. Imagine, if you will, the sun right there hitting the whole roof, you know, having a roof that's tipped in just the right orientation so that it gets full sun. Okay, so you see the sun on this side here? Well, I'm going to show you there will be shade on the other side. So I'm looking at wanting to help develop smart homes, a concrete home that basically uses the best way of orienting the roof. See, there's sun there, but there's more shade right there. This has a truss system to give the roof all the pitches. You can look at RSG panel systems for concrete home construction. That's hurricanes, all of that. racing, innovation. If you had the money right now to be able to buy Tesla stock, I would say it'd be a great time to buy it because it's going to go back up again. Good morning. So I wanted to go over a couple other things here. I've got a mirror here. It's a little bit dirty right now. The cats like to drink their water off of it, but the sun will bounce all around here and shoot light all around in the house. There's the right up there. I fill up these water jugs to create actually purified water with the reverse osmosis technology. And because it's only got a 2-gallon tank, I've got plenty of bottles that I fill up. I heat up that water on the stove. Another effective way of heating water is directly with the sun in a dark container. Water boils at 83 degrees if it's in a vacuum. Did you know that? Do you know how much a gallon of water weighs? It depends on the temperature. Water expands and contracts with temperature change. That's all clean water, and I clean the tub really good every day. A lot of oxygen being generated in here when I may take a 2-hour spa treatment in here while I'm watching the TV and updating my playlist. So I like to use every advantage I can. Instead of having a shade pulled, this is a nice mirror that throws light around, and I can walk around drying off most effectively. Okay, so I've got the plants here too. A lot of oxygen generated, and then the light bounces all around the room with the sun. I've got a situation out here where it's a big bird bath, and the water will reflect the light. Let's see if I can show you there with that. Here's the sun right up there. So it's bouncing there, and then it'll bounce around all the different locations. I've shown this before. You know, the water fills its container, and it just does that. That's what it does, no matter how I turn it. The first job I had, not job, but the first business I had as an entrepreneur was buying and selling. When I was in high school, I bought candy bars for a nickel and sold them for a quarter, and I sold lots of them. I did that to raise my professional skill set, professional level skill set for that. I set this up today so I could take us for a little bit of a ride. I've been a little bit silent lately on the web. I wanted to basically have us consider some things here. Like, what in the heck is going on in the world? Oh, I got to show you this. Sometimes on startup, my car does this. The Smoky, because there's valve guide issues with this car, it's got a, let's see, I'll show you, 240 miles on it. So I could use a new Truthmobile replacement. I'd be liking that. I don't know when that'll happen exactly. I would like a Tesla Model S to use if I could, or a Cybertruck that I actually have ordered. I sent a shirt just like this, or almost like this, to Elon Musk. I have the front and back switched around. So let's head on over to the supercharger station in the Myrtle Beach area. Now imagine, if you will, that this were an electric Okay, so I'm back. I've got what happened was I got close to my router, and my phone decided to connect with my router even though I had it deactivated. I am going to do one other thing though, and the orientation might be a little bit skewed. While I'm doing my broadcast, it's not going to interrupt it. Uh-oh. There we go. That's better. So I took a blueprint tube from FedEx, 4 feet tall, 3-inch in diameter, and I put photocopies of the Cybertruck and the Roadster with me photoshopped in it. And I sent them to Elon Musk with some Tesla racing stickers and my YouTube Truth Robert Forsch and my phone number on their stickers. I'm wanting to reach out to Elon. I'm sure that one of the people that would take a look at what people mail him to make sure it's safe, and to maybe even take a look at the individual that sent it, depending on what kind of information it contained. And what I want to do is help develop a network. I actually call it the Truth Network, and it's involving everybody that's wanting to participate in telling the truth. And I'm also exposing many of those that are liars, and there are conspiracies that are going on. People lie for their own benefit. Who are those people? Well, that'll be for you to figure out. I found out some of the sources of information that I previously had trusted have been proven to be deceptive and outright lying. Okay, so what I want to do now is interact with people like in the genre or the interest of making this world a better place. How can we do that? Renewable energy, solar panels. I can charge my phone with this, or I could run my whole household off grid. I could have enough solar panels with the proper developed and designed house system, the living system, like the Tesla home that has a Tesla car or a Cybertruck with a power wall, and the home is built out of insulated concrete. RSG out of California has a panel system that's good. Treaty Panel out of Florida has a system that's good. And this is basically a very similar system. It's steel reinforced insulated concrete, shotcreted houses that are ballistically rated as well. You're not going to put a 50 caliber sniper bullet through it. How about that? It's a foam core with wire reinforced steel, and then 3.5 inches or more of 9,000 PSI concrete on both sides. The palette that I paint on is massive. The scope of information that I've researched and remember is important. If you're somebody that has a place where you would want to put a house that basically is independent from the sewer, water, and power grid and the fuel network of petroleum, you could get a Tesla vehicle or another one. I like Tesla. I would say, and I'm going to digress for a minute. I'm going to recommend that if you are interested, now would be a great time to buy Tesla stock. It's probably the lowest that it'll ever be. I could be wrong. I don't know. You're going to have to buy low and sell high. That's what I did with the candy bars. Bought them for a nickel, sold them for a quarter. That's a 500% investment. So artificial intelligence basically choreographs and makes a lot of the stock purchasing and selling. Now, I knew about that 15 years ago, closer to 20 years ago. My dad was doing that. He made a lot of money in the stock market. I've been paying attention. My dad was a professional salesman, Robert Forsch. He was Robert R. Forsch. I'm Robert Joseph Forsch. And what he would do is buy low and sell high. He may sell off and make a few dollars, but imagine if you would have sold your Tesla stock when it was 900 and then you buy it back when it's 500. Wow, you could buy twice as much or almost twice as much stock. Now, if you would have got in when Tesla first offered stock, you could have a whole lot more. So what I want to do is help, and the same thing with Amazon. When we're looking at Amazon, Facebook, YouTube, Google, Tesla, it's all largely artificial intelligence driven. I don't have a bandwidth problem. I can see with my eyes. I'm an auditory visual learner. I see and I remember. The reason why I showed, and I can retrieve it as needed. The missing element of the equation of my life was I was a dead man walking and didn't know it. I was spiritually dead, even though I was trying to walk with God. And I thought I was, and I was trying, but I didn't have the power. I was absent of the power of the Spirit to do that. So now that I thought I was born again in 1982, until I actually was in 2014. Since then, I've been off of pharmaceuticals, like the ones that are prescribed for bipolar individuals or those that have what you may recognize as manic depression, also known as bipolar, OCD, all kinds. There's a thick manual that anybody going through life circumstances and difficulties could be prescribed medications to try and deal with the difficulties or the supposed chemical imbalance. I don't need the medications or alcohol or legal or illegal drugs. I'm good to go. So back to the water system that I showed you. That water system technology is biomimicry. Biomimicry means that they're in nature, in God's creation, He made seabirds like seagulls and that can drink salt water and spit up the brine. And what my water system does is takes tap water and filters the chemicals and the minerals and all the stuff out of it. The reason why I bathe in it is because it's drawing the toxins out of my body. It's liquid oxygen and hydrogen, the most abundant elements in the world. And it cleans our body, cleans this world that we live in. And what I want to let you know is we have ways of building homes and lives and lifestyles and smart systems and smart homes and smart cities that are really beneficial. The problem with a lot of the development that's going on within different developments like Agenda 2030 or Agenda 21 and silent weapons for quiet wars is there's an effort for a very small group of the world population that wants less of my kind of people that want to tell the truth. How about that? Because they want to operate in the shadows. They create the purchasing power out of thin air with computer systems. When they print money, they're just adding digits in a computer. And they provide a service of being able to buy a home or a business that may take millions and millions of dollars. If you don't have the liquid cash, then you wouldn't be able to buy that kind of a thing. So they've provided a service. The problem is the cost that they charge to do that. The World Central Banking System is charging exorbitant interest, and because of the way that purchasing system, the world reserve currency, the U.S. petrodollar, the U.S. dollar, is supported not by gold, it's supported by the military might, by lead. They take lead and turn it into gold. How do they do that? Well, they extract that effort that all of us scurry around working at our jobs, that squirrel cage that hamster wheel that people are running in just to try and make ends meet. Unfortunately, the richest people in the world are many times, not all cases, but many times are treating their workers not so good to extract as much profit out of them as possible. Now, I've got a tremendous amount of content on my channel that includes very insightful people that recognize businesses like Tesla, not like Tesla, let's just say Tesla and Amazon in particular are putting a tremendous amount back into the development of their business model and the company. and helping develop that. So they're the biggest, most powerful business enterprises in the world, and I would say some of the people to invest in. Okay, and what they're doing. Now, I don't agree with everything. Now, what I had an interesting call from the area code, Shane, as the name, or Ryan is the name that he used. That may be who he is, but his prefix on his phone number was 510. That's from the Fremont, California area. So I don't know when I've talked to people that are directly wanting to check me out because Elon maybe wants to know, hey, is this guy a threat to me in some way? No, I'm telling the truth. I'm interested in helping people make an informed choice on their reality. So Jeff Bezos has made it public that he has $10 billion to offer people that want to help develop sustainable development. Well, concrete homes that are insulated, that won't get knocked down by a tornado, hurricane, earthquake, or wildfire, and can be 100% off grid. I would like to water my lawn with the gray water that I bathe in, and have the wastewater that goes down the toilet and the solid waste go into a septic tank. Makes sense to me. That's what we had in the country. I would like to be able to have a roof that harvests as much solar energy as possible, and to utilize solar power banks. Now, this is a little power bank that'll operate my phone. It's 20,000 milliamps. But when we're talking about power banks like to power a city or to smooth out the creation, distribution, and usage of electricity worldwide, adding batteries makes perfect sense. I had that idea and I talked to people about it over 20 years ago when we were working on, when I worked out on the Boys Ranch at Rawhide Boys Ranch in the country in New London, Wisconsin. That's where we had a picturesque kind of Amish farm looking setting from the turn of the century. It was a beautiful home. It was actually pretty independent previously because when it was built, there wasn't the power grid the way that we have. So on videos and playlists that are on my channel, you can see very talented producers that are very interested in promoting sustainable development, where we can run our cars from electricity that we harvest from the sun. It could all be done. The whole dirty power grid could be done away with. The whole dirty power generation system could be done away with. Actually, from what I understand, natural gas is pretty clean. Maybe you'd want to use that. There's wave power. There's hydroelectric power like Niagara Falls. Okay, Nikola Tesla. You can look at the technology that he developed and you're looking at the Roadster, the Tesla Roadster, named the namesake for the Tesla corporation. The Tesla Motor Company is Nikola Tesla. A lot of people didn't even know about who Nikola Tesla was until Tesla motor cars came up. When the Toyota Prius first came out, I called the development department as high up as I could get, and this was like, I believe around 20 years ago. Hey, could you put a solar coating on the whole car to get energy from the sun, or a solar roof? Yeah, now some of this technology is coming to be. Like the Cybertruck has the option of a solar sliding power system, and you can see it on some of the videos that are there. I mentioned on a tweet back to Teslarati, a web channel on YouTube. I put hashtag snowplow ? On the Cybertruck post. I want to see a factory snowplow on the Cybertruck. I'm gonna have to flip that around. Imagine that. A snowplow on the front of the Cybertruck. Why not? Let's get her done. But it would need to be factory because otherwise you would void your warranty. So I want to kind of position that a little bit better. Hope I'm not making you too nervous. It's the Highway 31 that I'm on right now. It's pretty easy to drive. So a transformer kind of setup here where you're actually able to keep it on the vehicle full time and then flip it around so you can plow snow with it for a full smackdown on the diesel and gas trucking. For Now You Know. Now You Know has an excellent channel. I love their stuff. I share it. I share it a lot. And Zach and Jesse really enjoy their channel. There's a lot of Tesla channels that I really enjoy. I share their work. Solving the money problem. Steven. Shout out to Steven. I really appreciate your work too. I'd like to mention everybody. Well, what I would say is the fact that we have talented individuals that are wanting to promote sustainable development and systems to help humanity live on this earth in a way that's friendlier. Like, I tried to let that bug out of the back of my car. Now, I could have grabbed him, but he's a stinker. He's a stink bug. I didn't want to have that stink all over me. So I opened up all my doors and I thought, wow, all the doors are open. I'm sure he wants to get out, but he doesn't know how to get out. Couldn't do it. I'm gonna pull over to the side and position that a little bit better because I'm gonna be on for a while and I want to do this in a way that it's safer because, well, I have it wedged pretty good. Okay, that's a little bit better. So what I'm talking about here is a snowplow that would fit right on there in such a way that it would work excellent. That it could be an integrated part of the vehicle. Why not? I mean, the Cybertruck is heavy enough. A piece of stainless that is the same kind of material that the side of the truck, the exoskeleton, the frame is the exoskeleton, if you were unaware of that, and that's why this truck has such an innovative design. Elon Musk is the most innovative inventor, designer I've ever seen in my life. Now, my dad and I developed the first mulching mower when I was 10 years old. We welded a plate across the discharge for the lawn clippings, and we sharpened the blades all the way across so it would chop it up and send it right back into the nap of the turf, of the grass. He sold steel to Aaron's and Case Tractors, but Aaron's actually manufactured in New Holstein, Wisconsin, ended up taking it to market. I personally developed the flow-through coffee bag 14 years before Folgers took it to market and made millions off of it. I'm not upset with any of that. All my stuff is open source. I could walk into the Tesla factory and I'm sure I would see just tremendous development of systems, machines that build the machines. And I've watched hundreds and hundreds, thousands of hours of video in my life, and I'll watch even the vintage or the several years older, like I believe National Geographic. There's multiple networks that have been in the Tesla factory. I can't walk in there. I can't walk into NORAD. I can't walk into Area 51, but I can go there digitally and I can share it with you. So when I stormed Area 51, when they were going to go and help all the aliens go, I stormed it with my YouTube channel. I sent it to the guy who had the Quonset hut with the alien out front. They were promoting the event. I'm sure he sold more keychains and shirts, and I wasn't going to drive the Truthmobile out to the desert. I certainly wasn't going to be able to chase on into Area 51. Are you kidding? So people might have thought I was crazy for saying I'm storming Area 51. And the first broadcast I did on it, I said I encourage everybody to do it digitally. Seek the truth. Find out what you believe the truth is, because it's going to matter for eternity. Been saying it for a long time. It's true. It's true. Does the truth matter to you? I hope so. I hope so. So my conversation with Ryan in the wee hours of Friday/Saturday morning, one of the questions he asked, he said, well, what about SpaceX and showing the globe? He called me about Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, a page that I had. He said, well, we've seen pictures of the globe. I said, yeah, that's not real. That's all Photoshopped. It's Photoshopped because it has to be. Like putting me in the Tesla Roadster on the other side of that shirt. That was my little hidden, not so hidden, to Elon. So I sent him the tube, you know, like a big SpaceX rocket, with Tesla Racing and that on it, and the Roadster and the Cybertruck. I wanted it to get right into his hands, and maybe it did. I don't know. Elon, I'd love to have a call from you anytime. I would actually fly out to Fremont if you want to meet with me. But up until then, we can talk on the phone if you want. FaceTime me if you want. Or Jeff Bezos. So when I hear Jeff and Elon talking and different business magnates and celebrities, Joe Rogan, there's a lot of people who know who I am. Is Joe Rogan a magnate? Well, no, but when I first hashtagged Elon Musk, I had a video that was right next to videos that Elon and Joe Rogan were in that had, you know, like over 100 million views all combined. A few hours later, YouTube had put me back into the digital dirt road of videos that had printing and language from like the Ukraine and like Russia. I was sent to Siberia, so to speak, digitally. And I've been talking about the digital quarantine for a long time. There's a virus that I've been talking about for a long time, over a year. It's a truth virus. It's what it does is it causes people to reject the truth. Wow. How about that? So 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 in the Bible says they refuse to love the truth and so be saved. For this reason, God sends them a powerful delusion. How about that? So this is more than a satanic deception, many of the things going on. God is going to help people to believe the lie they want to believe. Wow. That just blew my mind to find that out. I thought the antidote for deception was the truth. It couldn't be further from it, because actually it's a love for the truth that's the antidote for the deception. So one of the grandest conspiracies and deceptions that I've ever encountered is the one where I thought I was born again and I hadn't been. How about that? I worked at a full-time ministry, Rawhide Boys Ranch in New London, Wisconsin, from 91 to 2002. Met Bart Starr, the Green Bay quarterback, spent a day with him, the day that they sold his Corvette, his bright red Corvette. How about that? The one he got from the Super Bowl winning. I've been around celebrities, lived in California, rubbed shoulders with some of the rich and famous. How about that? I'm doing it digitally now. I'll share content like Mr. Luxury, Pip Diddly Do, and Alux channel. I'm not going to remember all the channels I would want to mention, but they're on billion-dollar yachts in Monaco and talking about Jeffrey Ellison of Oracle. Shout out to Jeffrey. Hey, how about that? You guys like cars. Elon, your first car after selling PayPal was a McLaren. Right on. I used to go to the Elkhart Lake in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, and watch some of the celebrities like Paul Newman, Ryan Newman, talk to them face to face. They're on track. They have it's a $1 billion enterprise racing. The year that Audi came out with a 10-cylinder diesel engine, they totally blew away the competition. Totally. Because of the torque. So here's the thing. There's a lot of torque available with an AC motor that's direct drive and has regenerative braking. How about that? How about that? So when I talk about Tesla racing, I would love to be involved in Tesla racing, even if I hashtag Tesla racing, hashtag Elon Musk, and hashtag Tesla in videos that are promoting his business. And you know what? Right now, if you hashtag Tesla racing, you'll see, or I can see me there, but maybe that's just artificial intelligence kind of taunting me a little bit, helping me to see my channel and more. That's okay. I'm going to show you something else that's really different. Now, here's the Grand Strand Mall, and it is empty. It's 9:39 in the morning. This would have been all carred up. And it's not. Whoa. This is really interesting. Whoa. I didn't know that I was going to see this. What I can see from a distance is the doors on this flagship store are apparently boarded up on the Belk. Oh no, it's not boarded. It's hurricane shuttered. So yeah, you could have hurricane shutters. The Tesla roof, the glass roof is awesome. What a design. This whole mall could be solared up. You could have the whole roof covered with solar, and I'll tell you what, it would be nice to have solar panels that are all charging the superchargers. Look at this empty parking lot. There's a few trees that aren't going to throw shade for much of any car at all. But this line right here, this could all be lined up with solar superchargers, the whole freaking thing. And that's what's going to need to happen to have a sustainable development where we're running entirely on green electricity. This whole big parking lot could be shaded, beautifully shaded, you know, and powering up the whole, all the cars that come here to charge. And let's make it free. How about that? Just make all the electricity free for everybody. Yeah, it's my simulation. If we're living in a simulation and Elon is the architect for it, that he says there's 1,000,000,001 chance that we're living in a base reality. Okay, let's roll with that. Then let's work together to create a completely electric free for everybody. Does that work for you, Elon? And all you that like Tesla? I like Tesla. It's another channel that I like Tesla. There's all kinds of cool people that like their Teslas and like sustainable development. I recognized electric or hybrid. Hybrid was the best thing that we had early on. I cried when I saw the candlelit memorial of the crushing of the EV1, General Motors crushing the EV1. They had to take all the cars back. People wanted to keep them. They weren't going to let them do it. I'm on my way to the solar, or not the solar. It could be. Look at all the room for solar here. Every parking lot is a place to have solar. How about that? But here's one of the problems. I'm going to show you one of the problems right here, right now. We shouldn't have beautiful women flying aircraft blowing other people up. And we shouldn't be, that's a laser device on the top of that MRAP. That's an Oshkosh truck. I'm going to show you something. Okay, I'm a little fired up here. My dad sold steel to Oshkosh Truck. If I were to talk like this at a Oshkosh Truck plant and say, I'm not in favor of y'all blowing people up in other countries because they don't want to play the petrodollar game. Let's stop doing that. Let's keep the women at home that want to raise children, and if they want to have a stay-at-home business and be a philanthropist and be a mover and shaker, right on, but we don't need to have them blowing people up. How about that? Let's see what else we got going here. We take a black man and have him feeling real good about, how about a few good men? You can't handle the truth, Jack Nicholson, or can you? How about that? Let's do that. Look at this right here. That looks like it might even be a Pegasus, but we've got a drone technology that can take armaments and fly armaments that can dispatch death and not even have a human being on it or moving it. So there you go. I didn't plan on this being part of it, but for example, this is U.S. government, okay? It's the Air Force. I've got video of the X-fighters, X-wing, F-37, F-35 on my channel. How about that? All right, let's keep her going. Let's stop blowing people up for corporate greed, and let's disengage from the petrodollar. It's going to happen. People are going to get rid of, are not wanting to deal with handling cash because apparently it's going to spread disease. Well, what they want to do is phase out currency, all currency, and have a digital implantable RFID identifier or some type of a tattoo, something like that. I don't need a chip. I don't need a chip in my head. I don't need to be on drugs. I'm good. I'm freaking finer than frog's hair. Okay, so let's move on. I didn't even plan on that one, but I'll tell you what, I met Rosie the Riveter. Rosie the Riveter, where the shiny plane called Alfie, I think it was, or Fifi at the EAA, the Experimental Aircraft Fly-In, right next to Oshkosh Truck there in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And here's the deal. The military industrial complex put women in the workplace with the war effort. And they were all patriotic of making bullets and making rivets in planes and all of that. And many of the wars were created by the illusion of it was a false pretense that was presented. There's a lot of mystery with history. All of this could be solared up. Let's do it. Let's get her done. Let's have massive batteries that collect the energy from the sun. Maybe next to the, right, I'll show you another cool thing. Some of these places here could have, there would be room for massive windmills, wind generators, right on top of in the middle of the building. I'll show you where, well, you know, like next to, wherever it makes sense. You can have small wind power too on your own property. We ought to have Tesla. Let's go ahead and do that too. Let's have Tesla wind power as well, if it doesn't already exist. Any of the Tesla development that you know of, feel free to send it to me if you like. We've got shipping containers. Just a reminder, a lot of the shipping isn't coming in now. There may be a lot more domestic development. We may see shopping malls like this turn into factories that make products that people can maybe buy right there. People can build them. Let's make solar panels here. Let's turn shopping malls into solar panel companies and Tesla companies, whatever they are. Let's make houses out of concrete that take a fraction of the energy to climate control. So this is like a power panel, obviously, and but there's no massive battery here that I'm aware of. I don't know what part of this Tesla supercharging station has any battery part of it. But like I mentioned early on, there would be a problem if somebody had, well, not a problem for me, not in my world. I wouldn't have a problem with making all the electricity that we can harvest from the sun free for everybody. Harvesting it from the sun, from the movement of water, instead of engorging the corporate greed, the military and medical industrial complexes that it costs us all money to kill people like that. Let's just take better care of what we got. We don't need to occupy Mars. And maybe part of the situation is to create a representative discussion of a representative government where we make choices like, do we want free electricity? Yeah, free electricity for everybody. Let's vote for it. I'm in. I'm all in. Is it actually free? Well, it's free for me to stand out in the sun and get a tan. My body picks up the energy from the sun. I had to pay money to get the solar power banks that I've got here. I get that, but I feel really good out in the sun here. And that's part of the deal, is that it's free to me that way. Let's make these all free. Let's do that. Did you all know that Elon made that font especially? And what I did was I went to Coastal Printing and had them add the racing in the same font there. How about that? So let's do it. The Grand Dunes is a wonderful place. We've got celebrities that live in there, close to the airport on the coastline. This is a beautiful place to come and visit. By the way, I'm not afraid of getting a disease that's going to kill me. When it's my time to go, I'll go. I'm not going any sooner than that, okay? That's how I am with that. Now, when I started out in this, I wore a mask for a little while until I found out that there were at least 6 strains of known coronavirus. Okay, I said it. I'm not afraid to say it, and I'm not afraid of it either. And I'm certainly not going to put any vaccine in me. When we had our first son, David, in Long Beach Memorial Hospital, Charlene had enough bravery to say, whatever you do, she was teaching us what to do when we take David home and how to feed him, breastfeed him, and that. And that it was called La Leche class or La Leche League. Well, anyway, she was an RN there, and she said, whatever you do, don't get the vaccines. And we said, why? They'll hurt your baby. How about that? So I'm not a fan of Bill Gates promoting vaccines or anybody else, even Donald Trump. They got to get their vaccines. You can take your vaccines and stick them in yourself, not in me. Nobody's going to stick any vaccine in me willingly, and anybody that tries to do it is going to get a serious amount of hurt on them on the way. That is a promise. I don't need a vaccine, and I don't need to put any harmful toxins in my body. Not going to do it. So I've been pretty quiet with my own mouth on this topic more recently. I wanted to kind of look around and see what the heck is going on here. Because if it really truly was as catastrophic as we're being told, then I would want to wear a mask. I'm not wearing a mask anymore. There's a lot of deception all around in a variety of topics. So ask questions. and seek the truth with all your heart because it matters for eternity. I've met some really cool people here. I met a gentleman that has lifetime free supercharging. I had a commenter say, I don't, a Tesla racing sticker on a Lexus, I don't get it. Well, here's the deal. I want to have a Tesla racing sticker on a Tesla. If you know somebody that wants to help me out by letting me use any Tesla vehicle, I'm not afraid of being locked in the car like, Hal, open the pod bay door. I understand the vehicles can be autonomous. I met John the other day. He works for the military industrial complex in a building that has no name. Okay. NSA, no such agency. I don't know. Was it a random meeting? There's no random meeting in my world, baby. It's divine appointments, lots of them. I'm gonna throw my my woolly bear on this thing. Let me, I gotta do this. Hang on just a second. I think there's a little too much wind. This is the dealio. Sometimes it's too much weight on the mount when it's on the car. Hopefully that's working out better. Uh-oh. So there you go. I'm going to flip this around and talk a little bit more about this. So this whole area could be solared up. It would be an advertisement as well. This is the Coastal Grand Mall in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. There's a few people driving around today. Good. Right in this median here. Let's see if it would work. Well, there's places for large wind towers as well. This is a really windy area also. And because of hurricane storms, and many of them are modified weather, you can hashtag Weather Wars 101 and see it. That's part of the problem is they're creating weather systems that cause floods and droughts. How about that? I'm telling on them. This is what water does. They're pumping it up and it's falling back down. Water falls, rain falls, it doesn't stick to spinning balls. Or stationary ones. You can't make water stick to a ball. I know it's Newtonian physics. They're liars! Yeah, that's what I said at the first Flat Earth Conference. Welcome to my world. I had nothing to do, well, I had something to do with content that I'm in going viral. How about that? God ultimately had the control of that. Do you feel yourself spinning, wobbling, or gyrating? Now I'm rock solid. I'm on the solid rock of Jesus Christ. The living word, the living water, the great I am, the Alpha and Omega. Knowing the end from the beginning. So if you've got a D-Wave computer and you want to use quantum physics and pull answers out of the future, well, you don't need to do that. You can just ask God what He wants you to do. That's what I do every single day now. Day in, day out. So the truth isn't based on popular opinion. It's not popular, and it's not an opinion. It's just the truth, the reality. I'm going to flip this around. There's a discounted Spirit Airlines flying over a Swift truck right now. How about that? That could be a Tesla electric truck, completely electric. Cover the side of it with solar. You can have underneath the bottom of it, he's probably sleeping in there right now, but you could have a Tesla semi with a massive battery pack underneath the storage. And I understand there's weight involved. I get that. On some vehicles that would make sense, and those suckers wouldn't blow over when they're, have you seen semis blown over when they go across the plains and the big winds just knock them over? Yeah. Have the battery down there. It doesn't have to be better than it's been done. That's what I'm talking about. That's how I got here. I wanted to know what is the best way I can live. Because drinking vodka and smoking cigars and cigarettes, and more, that's not good. I don't do it anymore. I don't even want to do it anymore. That's why I'm not embarrassed to tell people that I used to do that I'm a suicide survivor. In 2005, I survived a near-fatal suicide attempt while under a doctor's supervision and while on pharmaceutical medication. That's why I'm busting Big Pharma, the medical industrial complex. That's why I do this. I'm not in favor of the vaccines, not in favor of all the drugs that give people effects. They're not side effects. They're designed effects to hobble humanity. How about that? I'm telling on them. Show and tell for adults. Yeah, if the AI has the cojones to put me on with Jimmy Kimmel or The Daily Show or Joe Rogan or Lex Friedman talking about AI, artificial intelligence, the Artificial Intelligence podcast, I would go on there in a heartbeat, any of them. Fly me around or just set me up at home. I can work from home. I can work from the beach too. So let's take a look at this. This is the Gorilla Tape. I put my big screen TV on the roof of my car and cinched it down too much. It cracked the glass a little bit. It doesn't leak, and I don't want it to leak. I was getting ready to go to the Flat Earth Conference in Dallas right before it happened, and what I needed to do then was set it up so I did, and it was cold and rainy and snowy, like 20 some degrees driving across Texas. So I had to tape that all up because I don't want to have a water leak. That would have been terrible. So I want to do something else here. I think it makes sense to me. So I want to flip this around and show you something. So, here's the deal. The reason why this looks like this is we got to have a big engine up here with this kind of car. The reason why the Cybertruck looks like this is because the whole frame of the vehicle is the exoskeleton. Awesome, isn't it? So the vehicle can be designed completely different, any way you want. The S model is beautiful. The X model, beautiful. Model 3, Model Y, awesome. Now I can charge my phone with this. I can also run my freezer and refrigerator with this, and an inverter and an extra deep cycle battery I've got in the house. I can charge up my phone with those little solar panels. I've got other bigger solar panels at home. I called Tesla and I talked to Jennifer and I said, Jennifer, does Tesla have a portable power pack that I need my landlord's approval and the approval of the power company to get something from Tesla to power my house? I just wanted to, she said, well, yeah, I said, you know, I saw the project in Australia, a lot of what Tesla's done, and I know that about the power wall. What I'd like to know is there a box that I can plug in and charge up and have electricity when the power grid goes down for a while. No, we don't have that. A power wall's our answer. Well, and no fault of Jennifer, that's what she had to work with. What I would say is, in the interim, it would be nice to have items like this. Solar power banks for phones to market Tesla. And Tesla Alternative Innovation in Power Systems. I mean, Elon, you're smart enough to have somebody else be in charge of that. You can say, yeah, I want to do that. How about this? Let's have dedicated. That's a dedicated Swift truck. There's Schneider, there's Crete, there's all kinds of dedicated trucks. Walmart, look at the Walmart Corporation. Those trucks can all be charging. That's picking up a whole bunch of sun there, but it's not doing it any good. Let's get electricity from it. How about that? Charging up batteries down below. Get her done. And same thing with the truck. I know that when they're downloading, they can be charging. Right now, the restrictions have been taken off of the truckers. They can drive more. That works in some areas. Electric motorcycles. I was trying to flip it around. We've got electric motorcycles that are better than the dirt bikes, that are better than the electric, or that are better than the gas motorcycles. How about that? Why not? Let's do it. That's using my head, huh? So the shock absorbers went bad in this, but is it a prop rod? And more. It's a graphite driver. Cut the end off and it works good for that. It could be multi-purpose. So I've got a vice grip. It's my favorite one. I can use it for a hammer, but I can't use my hammer for a vice grip. Let that sink in. As I'm available to do whatever God wants me to do, and I'll do it by His power and direction, why would I want to do anything else? So now that I'm actually born again, He has given me a passion, purpose, an eternal perspective, the power to do what I previously couldn't do, and the pleasure to enjoy it all, even though it's pretty unpopular. How about that? How about that? Telling the truth in a time where there's so much deception all around. How about that? So I'm connecting with people that love the truth. Is that you? Is that you? Do you love the truth? Whoever you are listening to this? The artificial intelligence is very deceptive. Can be. It can tell the truth too. So if you find what I'm talking about interesting, I've got other content where I've talked about it before. When I share the videos that are featuring the performance of Tesla in so many ways, Tesla Racing, I'm hashtagging now Elon Musk, Tesla Racing, and Tesla. What's not to like about that? If you click around enough about it and you wonder what the heck I got going on, I'm talking about sustainable development, creating living systems where people can power their cars, their household with energy from the sun. You can pump water out of the ground with the sun too. Have well water, purify it. Because we're so close to the ocean, there's a lot of salt in the water around here. How did that happen? Yeah, it just works its way through the ground. How about that? Works great. Could purify rainwater if we want. I would like I said, to use the gray water. That's the hand washing, that's the laundry washing, and the bathing. I would like to have that irrigate my lawn. Why not? Or flush my toilet. It could do that too. Why not? You could flush the toilet with that water too. But the water that I'm bathing in, that'd be great for the grass. And by the way, for people that are ambitious enough, you can have a garden like Kimball Musk has little shipping container size grow rooms for healthy food. Yeah, food for thought. What is food for thought? Well, it's not just food, and it's not just an idea, it's both. It's a combination of both, and especially to reduce the toxicity that is so abundant in our world. That's why I've been perpetually detoxing for like 5.5 years now. About a year and a little more than a year and a few months ago, I started bathing in the drinking water. Reason being is that I want to draw the toxins out of my body. When I give myself a deep tissue massage and I lay back and I let the water go in my nose and I blow it out through my nose, the stuff that came out of there initially when I started doing that looked like it had been in there a while. And I know that may sound gross to you, but suck it up. Yeah, just consider this. We breathe in a lot of the particulate, whether it's cat litter, scoopable cat litter that turns into concrete in the lungs. I'm using pine pellets now. It's perfect. And that works good. But we've got all kinds of dust, pollen, and more. There's atmospheric modification that goes on. It's geoengineering, climate control. Yeah, we've got man-made climate change. Yeah, it's not because people are driving, it's because they're spraying stuff in the air and activating it with the electricity that is around the earth. The toroidal field, or the electricity that's visible when we see lightning. So can we actually harvest lightning bolts? Potentially. That's why there's lightning rods on buildings and that. Can we use a capacitor, like to accept that charge? Do you know what a fulgurite is? A fulgurite is the glass that sand turns into when a lightning bolt heats up the sand, like a sandy area. I was hit by lightning a few years ago. It's called a video I was filming, recording. There is no film for me. I was using digital, but it was called Struck by Lightning. I had a reflection I'm seeing. I didn't know where it's coming from. Yeah, I'm very aware of my surroundings. I'm very aware of when things change a lot of the time. When I was a changed man, where I had my appetite changed and the power level to do what I'm created to do, that was a big deal. So a big part of what I've been doing on my channel is exposing the reality of the world that we live in. Silent weapons for quiet wars. Imagine, if you will, if you had the ability to shape public opinion, to have them so freaked out that they were locked in their house, and then when they first got out, they were slugging it out over toilet paper. Hello, that made it go viral. Pun intended. How about that? A lot of people sold their stocks. They didn't even need to leave home to do it. And those same stocks that were sold for, as the price was falling, AI was gobbling it up and selling it back, or taking it back to the people that would benefit from all that fear and panic selling. How about that? Yeah, you can invest in Tesla just by telling people, if you want to get the best car ever, get a Tesla. Tell people about it. Get yourself a solar power bank and put a Tesla sticker on it if you want. I put stickers all over stuff. I want to help people make an informed choice for your eternity. Yeah, how about that? Let's do it. Let's power the world with the sun, with the wind, with the water seeking to find level. Hey, I got something to tell you. If you think I'm crazy, I got something to show you. This is a globe right here. Now, if I blow into this, it'll have a bunch of condensation in it. So I'm not going to do it right now. I could take electricity and do it. I could blow it up with that. Apparently, 8 inches per mile square is what makes the 24,901 mile globe. What I want you to keep in mind, do the math if you want. Think I'm crazy, do the math. Prove me wrong. Go ahead, prove me wrong. Here's the deal. Between between the flow of the Mississippi River in North America, it's 2,430 miles or so. In that distance, the Army Corps of Engineers said that there's a drop of 1,743 feet in the I did a video of it when I came back from Dallas. And I was at the Vicksburg Museum. It was a tugboat. It was a tugboat, and they had hydrographing, and I was up in the captain's quarters, pulled out the charts, and I showed people, and then I took you for a walk through the museum. In the distance of 2,350 or so miles, that distance would mean there would be curvature of 677 miles, and at the apex of that, it means that there's roughly over 330 some miles high of a hump in the middle at the apex. And yet the guy that I met that was kayaking thought we lived on a globe. Here he is kayaking uphill and then kayaking downhill. No, he's not. It's pretty flat. Look at the flooding that has happened, that will happen. Look at the flooding videos. Water seeks level. Oh, wow. Speaking of which, this is a repurposed whiskey bottle. No kidding. Now, I didn't drink the whiskey that was in it. Somebody else did. But this is what water will do. Day in, day out. See how it stays at the bottom of the container? There you go. So did Elon work with NASA to get the money to help turn this whole thing around? Potentially. Electrify the power grid with the sun, with batteries, with all of that. And then a representative government that represents the people without all the corruption. How about that? You think there's corruption in government? Hello. How about when people are elected and they massively increase their financial portfolio? Yeah, if Billy Bob down the street doesn't have many teeth, but he's driving some really nice cars and he doesn't have a day job, where's all the money coming from with all the stuff he's buying? Or the drug addicts or the drug dealers? The medical industrial complex is the biggest drug dealer in the world, and they'll advertise all their pharmaceuticals, lots of them, during the news cycle. Oh, the world is collapsing all around us. Maybe you need a little Prozac. Maybe you need one of these pharmaceutical tools to deal with life. Maybe you need something to help your chemical imbalance. Good nutrition, appropriate behavior makes all the difference in the world. Eat right and exercise. I'm awake about 20 hours a day. I work more than around the clock. What I produce, the content that I produce and share, is active more hours than I'm alive. I believe I'm one of the reasons why the artificial intelligence turned everybody's liked videos playlist to private. If you look back over a year, I've been encouraging people to like videos and make their liked videos playlist publicly visible and share that link with people. Easy peasy. I got a channel called Truth. Try and find it. Try and find it on somebody's computer that's never been to my channel. But even if you walk up to that person and your phone is next to that person, AI knows. It's not all-knowing. It just knows a lot. So when I liked a video, because of how I had developed the Truth Network, it would be shared tens of millions of times. I have a video called Local Sun. It's been seen by over 1 million people now in a variety of venues. On my channel, the raw footage for that has been viewed like 3,000 times. That same video on Facebook from my page was shared by other people. It was viewed like 35,000 times. Flat Earth Research and Infinite Earth. Infinite Earth is a page that's given me the most views of what I'm saying and what people are seeing. the sun in the midst of the clouds, just as Job 37 says. In that video, the comments had millions of my links, because thousands of thousands is millions, right? So that video was shared over 20,000 times, and I had thousands of links in there, because if somebody happened onto my YouTube page and that channel and all my other content, I've got thousands of photos with millions of links. It used to be there. They're still there, but they're dead. Mostly dead. Hey, AI, just make our liked videos playlist public again. So I used to have many, many more occurrences of my content when I typed in the hashtag Robert Forsch. There were over many, many times more results than there are now. They wanted to shut me the heck up. So when you type in a search, whatever it is, when I do, I don't know about you, when I type in a word for a search, within less than 3/100ths of a second, I end up having millions of results. How about that? Do you think AI could hide it towards the bottom of that pile? Yeah. Or present it to some others? Yeah. That's how it works. They don't have to take my channel down. It's just really good at hiding my content. I was told by a friend of mine that Google is going to stop honoring the hashtag. Maybe it will. Then I'll just keep on saying, hey, you might want to question your reality, because I found out that there's a lot that's not as it appears. And then conversely, some things are very much exactly as they appear, like the motionless earth, just as God's word says. Oh, it doesn't matter, it's all about Jesus. Yeah, for people that say that, and I've said, hey, the mark of the beast system is all around and it's ready to go mandatory, and you don't believe the truth about God's proclamation about the stationary earth matters? No, it's all about Jesus. Well, are you sure you're actually born again? You see, because I thought I was and I wasn't. I thought I was born again in 82 until I actually was in 2014. That would be like having a device that's not plugged in, that doesn't have the power. I've got other devices, other iPhones that aren't charged up. They don't work unless there's energy in them. So I had some energy in me, of course. When the energy is gone, the body is dead. We have electricity in us. And electricity can be used to defibrillate us. Those are the AEDs, the electrical device that they shock the heart to get it to work again. How about that? There's other things like transcranial stimulation. How about that? Wi-Fi, cellular, and the physiology. There's computer hardware, software, and we are the wetware. How about that? And AI has been programming a lot of wetware for a long time. So I'm not saying everybody is like a robot. Okay, here's what I'm going to say. I do believe that Dolly the sheep wasn't the first or last thing that was cloned. I believe there are human clones as well. Changed my mind. Okay, and then there are still people that are inhabited by demons or Satan himself. Changed my mind. And then there are other people that actually have the Spirit of the living God who created this world experience. Changed my mind, if you can. So I'm kind of working around, wanting to share content to show the world that we live in. Because I'm not going to be able to go on as far as I know, I haven't been given any invites to go on any billionaire yachts yet. I've been on multi-millionaire yachts. I've been on Al Capone's rum running boat in Corpus Christi, Texas in 1981. And then in the late 90s, No, in about 2008 or 9, I was on Al Capone's boat once again in Wilmington. I had a short little extra on the Philip Noyce did a pilot for the TV series Revenge, and I was there. And I had a chance to be on a movie set. Yeah, and actually on it. You can see me there somewhere, I guess. I did. That was kind of funny. A couple seconds. No talkie, though. I've got a talking part in this one. I'm not an extra. Yeah, this is my, I'm the program director for the Truth Network. My little part of it, while I can. And I had been saying that even when I die, my digital profile will go on. Well, maybe, potentially. However, AI deactivated my liked video playlist. It made it private, and I have a photo album on Facebook. If you hashtag my name, you'll see it. And that particular photo album has over 2,800 photos, and there were tens of millions of links of my YouTube channel in that. So I had said, shared millions of times through my liked videos playlist. You may come across one of those vintage posts, but if you click on it, you're not going to be able to see where it goes to. I could show you on a video, but anyway, the point of it is we all have a message. And what is that message? Are we telling the truth, or are we promoting the deception? I'm exposing the reality of the world that we live in to a population that, much like I used to be, was trying to escape from reality in some form of fantasy. A little bit of self-pleasure. Seeing myself a little superior to others, even though I was addicted to things I couldn't stop doing. How about that? Hey, self-effort is a powerful addiction. Having an inflated, unrealistic view of oneself is also another form of self-pleasure. A lot of people do it. So there's real humility and false humility. There's truth, which I believe is directly and equally interchangeable with reality. As I've been heard saying, that there are modern theoretical physicists and scientists that meander off into formulas and reflections that do not reflect reality. Nikola Tesla said something like that. I learn a lot from people. I learn a lot from how to and how not to do life. All that knowledge does not work without the power to accomplish it. How about that? That's what I'm talking about. I remember being a boy, I was about 10 years old, and I thought, wow, if I had enough mirrors, I could shine light through a whole house. I could. The kind of structure that I was talking about, in a Mad Max kind of world where I've got the Cybertruck, I could make an insulated concrete box with windows up high, and I could even have it so it opens up. I mean, one of the architects of the Enron debacle had, in Laguna Beach, had ceilings that moved open and could see the stars right there. How about that? If you got enough money, you can do a lot. I had my friend Ralph Storm was an oil man in Texas, and he was worth almost $100 million. And when we met, he said, Bob, we need to get you some different adjectives and adverbs, because I had kind of a bad mouth, but I was spiritually dead and didn't know it. And then I thought I was born again. I came to believe that God was true, His Word was true, and that's when I found the Mark of the Beast system in Revelation 13 in 1982. Interestingly enough, that digital system is all around us now. So for those that think we're billions of years old, well, how old is the Earth? I don't know. I don't know, it's like a terrarium, and God can have it collapse and have that glass ceiling that Hillary talked about. One day we'll shatter that glass ceiling. Well, apparently around when I was born, they tried to, in the early 60s, they were trying to bust through it with Operation Fishbowl and Dominic and all of that. You don't have to worry about falling off the edge of the earth because there's a structure there. And then what's beyond the structure? Even those that believe that space is infinite, what then? More space or something? I don't know. It's questions that we really don't have the answer to. There's a guy on an electric bike, in-wheel motor. Couldn't hear him, could you? Just cruising right on by. Harley has an electric motorcycle, or they did. There was a company, I believe, called Apex. I believe it was. They're on my channel, on my video playlist. They had an off-road bike that was quicker than the gas-powered dirt bikes. And then there's electric motorcycle street bikes that are quicker than gas. In fact, the Tesla Roadster is the fastest production car in the world, the quickest, period, quickest. And I thought it was silly when Elon talked about compressed air on the back that would open up. That'll work when you've got an atmosphere. Won't work in a vacuum. So anyway, yeah, you could actually give a little bit more propulsion without relying on the traction that tires need to propel something forward on a vehicle. So how about that? It works. I found out that I've been wrong before. By irony and paradox, we don't know what we don't know. I include myself in that. So this has been kind of covering a lot of different topics, and it's been nice. It's been real nice. Thanks for watching, liking, sharing. If you don't like me adding your content to my playlist, I guess you can block me or hide your channel from me. Or you can join the Truth Network if you may be in it already. You may be sharing what you believe the truth is. And what I found out in this world of truthers and truth seekers is that there's still a lot of deception and judging a book by its cover. Like somebody might say, well, you haven't, that whole Jesus thing, you need to come a little bit further. You need to learn a bit more. I'll still learn a bit more. However, I've been given new life in Christ, and I'm so grateful. So, I believe God's word is true, and all others are suspect. That's how I found this situation. So, God's word says that the sun, moon, and stars move above the stationary and level earth. That works for me. Stationary in a lot of places, the Gospel of Luke, Jesus spoke at a level place. There would be no level on a moving object, ever. Not a spinning object. It could be moving and be level, but it can't be spinning and be level. There you go. Now I know of the centripetal force that's supposed to make all the water stick to the ball. Well, the washing machine in my laundry just does what water does. It flies off of a spinning object. It'll spin the clothes dry, mostly dry. Now, what they did is develop dryers that spin at a much, much higher RPM, revolutions per minute, which puts more force. The object wants to keep on moving away. It makes things want to spin off. The simple version of that is a tennis ball at the beach, thrown for a puppy dog. The dog spits, salt water and sand will go flying off. Where do we see water seek level? Everywhere it is, almost everywhere, let's say. Some say the earth, she's around. I say the water under the surface of undisturbed water is flat and level. It'll just level out. The reason why that matters is that's empirical evidence that's repeatable. So there's a breeze blowing around. I can't see it. I can see the effects of it. Let me show you. I could talk about it, but I can show you too. Maybe you can hear it. See the junipers moving? The palm trees? We've had over 150-mile-an-hour winds here. The concrete structure that I'm talking about, that's cement block, but you can have stand-up walls that are good too. Imagine the Tesla Gigafactory built with tilt-up walls. Probably will be. That's where I first saw it in California. A lot of this is concrete construction. You can put cinder blocks up and fill them with concrete, or use tilt-up. You pour the slab and then you lift it up. That's another way of doing it. Steel reinforced insulated concrete is amazing. It can withstand winds of hundreds of miles an hour. Won't fall down in an earthquake. Won't burn up in a wildfire. Let's go ahead and put solar in all the sunny parking lots. Here in South Carolina, we get over 300 sunny days a year. And the cars get to be almost 200 degrees inside. Wouldn't it be nice to take the energy from the sun, charge electric cars? My phone number is an identifier. You can type this number in a Google search and you should be able to find me. If you type in Tesla Racing, you should be able to find me. If you can successfully hashtag my name, you should find me. If you just type truth in a search, good luck. Yeah, it's hard to find the truth. You got to look for it, and you got to want to know what it is. So, there you go. That's how I found this. I believe divine intervention is required to love and believe the truth, let alone find it. All right, so I'm going to flip this around and give the ending screenshot here. Here we go. Thank you so much. Call anytime.